I didn't really understand what it was. I remember when I was younger, I felt different to everyone else, but I didn't know what it was.
It's like someone telling you to read, but then you don't know how to read yet. There's almost like an expectation that you just kind of should know through human intuition.
No one ever talked about, well, what if you are gay? I just never really thought it was an option for me for some weird reason.
I would, say, okay, I can't wait until I grow up one day and I'm gonna have a wife and a kid and I'm gonna be sitting in a nice restaurant with a career. Like that's what was presented to you all the time. It was represented to you all being heterosexual.
For the longest time, I hated the word lesbian because it sounded like a disease to me. Like, honestly, I thought it was like the most disgusting word in the entire world. Like, it sounds contagious. It's just a difficult word to say. I don't know. It's just it's a difficult label to put on yourself for some reason.
Once you say you're gay, I feel like you can't go back to it. That's why I just wanted to be sure.
And I remember vividly thinking this. It was grade 6 or something like that. It just popped in my head and I was like, shit, I like girls. I got this idea and I was like, oh my God, no one's ever thought of this before. I was like, I can hide it. They just think it's an adjective and they're like, if there's no harm. But when you're growing up and that's what you hear, everything that's bad is gay, that obviously is gonna have an impact on you and your ability to perceive if it's safe or not to come out.
I dyed my hair and I wore different kind of clothing and such as. And then Dad would say to me, we get it, you're gay. You don't need to shove it in our faces and rub it in our face. You can just be normal. You can just be a guy and be a bit more masculine. And people would accept you. I was just scared that I wouldn't be the same person and that I would fall into the stereotype.
That really, really hurt me. The fact that they were uncomfortable with the fact that I was gay and they were viewing it as me being gay being a hardship for them was really hard because I'm making people uncomfortable.
If you're a straight person and you're alternative and you're goth and you're punk, or you like this thing that maybe your family doesn't like, they'll get over it. It's fine. They'll figure it out. They may think it's strange, but for some reason, to be gay is this huge polarizing thing that you may think that your family is super nice and accepting of you, and the moment you tell them, they will cannibalize you.
So, you would see straight people basically fondling each other in the hallways, but it was hard for gay people to hold each other's hands,
I remember the first time I kissed a guy. I remember we both thought it was really disgusting and we both thought it wasn't normal.
In middle school, I would change in the dressing room or in the bathroom while everyone was in the dressing room because I was I knew my attraction, that I didn't want to be creepy or the predator.
Because despite this being what I'm interested in, these are all very hyper-masculine men who are changing next to an awkward closeted gay guy. And if I get outed right now, I am going to be possibly beaten up. I'm going to be automatically accused of having to look at them or wanting to look at them for sexual reasons.
And that, when I'm in the changing room, don't talk to me, don't look at me, it made me feel like I was a predator at one point.
Admitting that you're yeah, there's no chance that I'm ever going to lead any kind of heterosexual life that my family can be proud of is an endeavor and a half.
Your safety is always up in the air. You don't know. Even if my mom, I remember she did this later in high school. Finally, she was if you marry a man or a woman, that was golden. That was my opportunity that I knew that it was safe to come out, right? Why didn't you tell us about gay people? And she was oh, you just asked so many questions. I thought it would just confuse the hell out of you. If someone had just sat me down in elementary school, then it would have changed my whole life.
My mom actually knew, I'm pretty sure, and she was well, I don't understand why a child wouldn't tell their parent that they're gay. I'm well, maybe the kid needs some time, Mom, to process what's happening.
And that's something that really bothered me when straight people try to understand the gay experience, because they will never, ever understand that. You can understand exterior racism, exterior homophobia, exterior violence, exterior hate, but to have that come from your own family and be fearful of that, that's something that's wicked and vile and horrible.
Keeping like a heavy secret from like basically when you're like just like a little kid, like that just like weighs on you like really fucking hard like after a certain period of time, you know what I mean? When you're like 11 years old, convincing yourself like it's okay that I'll never be happy and that I'll never be fulfilled in life because what I want is perverted and disgusting, and if people knew, they'd all hate me. When you live with that kind of guilt, you lose a certain aspect of being a kid.